Hi NARC troopers. I'm here in Austin, Texas, visiting a couple of friends and visiting my son and his family. And I wanted to wish you a happy holiday. This season can be a difficult time, so I want to stress to you all that you're going to have a plan, work extra hard, do the things you need to do to stay okay during this holiday time that can be really challenging. So I want to offer you a couple of anxiety relieving tips, if I might, that could be helpful to you as you travel or visit with people or get exposed to a lot of triggery things that are going to trigger anxiety and panic attacks and get your whole PTSD all, worked up and out of whack. So one of the things that we have to be aware of is our breathing and our tension and the way our body feels. Where you hold the trauma and where you start experiencing discomfort is important that you acknowledge, where that is. For me, I feel it in my chest because I feel here, from here down, kind of the tightness and the inability to get my breath, that kind of thing. I also hold tension in my shoulders and neck, lower back, my stomach, solar plexus, all those areas. So if, sometimes it feels really weird to try to tune in to your body to figure out what's going on and where you're feeling the tension and the stress. But you carry grief, trauma, fear, all of these, feelings, anger, all of that in your body. So it's good to kind of like have a quiet time to sit down and try to do a scan of yourself. How am I feeling? Where am I feeling it? What can I do about it? And then consciously try to work on relaxing those parts of your body. If you are able to do something like schedule a massage or something like that to try to kind of help with the relaxation, then that's a good thing. If you don't have access to that, you can do a little effleurage on your arms and a little patting. I will rub my arms and I just experiment with what works. Sometimes it's a very light touch. Sometimes I do just my shoulders. This is a common one where I pat myself. And sometimes I do both hands. And it's like I tell myself I'm okay. I tell my little interior voice person, inner child, whatever you want to call it, I tell her, it's okay, I've got you, don't freak out, stay calm, we're going to be okay, I've got you, I'm not going to let you be hurt, I am watching for you, I will protect you, we're good, and I do the patting, or just one hand. Sometimes it's good to like put your hands over your chest and do the breathing, and maybe pat right here. You can do the EFT, which is tapping, is sometimes what that's called, and there's like meridians on your body, focal points that you can tap into. A lot of people start with these 2 fingers, sometimes 3. I use 2, and do the side of your hand is 1, and then the temple, and then between your eyebrows, above your lip, your chin, the bone right here, right, under the arm, and the top of the head. And just repeat that. I do this with my students sometimes before a test or when they're having anxiety or stress, and they tell me that, some of them are like, can we do that tapping thing? That really helps me. I enjoy that. And others are like, that doesn't do anything for me. So here again, you have to just experiment to see what works with you. Try it. If it doesn't work, okay. And if it does, keep it in your toolbox. So maybe the tapping. Trying to grab your brain and divert it to a different direction is also a great technique when you're starting to go to the bad place. Pattern interrupt. Pattern interrupt is what that is called. And there's a million different ways to do that. You can put yourself mindfully, your placement in the now, and feel your body in the now by saying things that you see, name things that you hear, touch things, pick up objects. Like, you know, I'm going to pick up this candle and I'm going to hold this and feel it, and I'm going to touch it like I am here. I'm holding a candle. It smells like cinnamon. And then just keep going. I see poinsettias. It's the holidays, right? I see my dog. I see my cat. I see whatever. I hear this. I feel this. And just, you know, you touch things kinesthetically, walk around and touch things in the room. I'm in the kitchen right now, so maybe you're gonna have like a bottle of water, and you're gonna hold that water and drink lots of water, because that's good for you too. If that doesn't work for you, to try to practice some mindfulness, meditation, or naming things in the room to get your mind to like, right now, I'm in this room and I'm grounded here. I'm tethered, I'm anchored, I'm standing here in this kitchen. I'm okay. You can do the tapping, I'm okay. One of my favorite things is to map a journey, and I'll say it out loud. I'll say, the trip from my house to work, I'm going to drive down El Camino Real, and I'm going to pass this, and I'm going to pass that, and there's the Whole Foods just a couple of blocks from my house, of course, right? And then I keep going. I'm going to be at the stoplight, and there's the noodle shop that makes the handmade pasta, and now I'm going to turn right, and there's Armadillo Willie's barbecue place. It's certainly not as good as the barbecue here in Texas. You know, I didn't even have barbecue while I was in Texas. How about that? I think I'm gonna get some at the airport before I leave. I don't eat meat, but I don't eat like beef or pork, but I might have some chicken before I go. Yeah, maybe a little bit. So I plot that journey, and I'll say it out loud and narrate that. And so it's kind of like doing the alphabet or numbers backward, like counting backward from 100, or counting backwards your ABCs. Same concept. Your brain is so busy doing this other thing that it redirects those neural pathways to stop you from the intrusive thoughts, the interfering interlopers that pop into your brain and torment you. Memories are a tough one. Flashbacks, tough. So you want to get your brain going a different direction. And you can do that with the trip. That's one of my favorite. Sometimes I'll put myself in a foreign city, a different city that I've visited, and I'll pick a location and I will pretend I'm there. Like I'm at the Musée d'Orsay in Paris. I see the big clock. It used to be a train station. I see the gates of hell, you know, a Rodin sculpture, bas relief. Of that, and I see this and I see that, and I do like a mental tour of what is in that museum, like an inventory, and then I'll go to the Louvre, and then I'll, you know, whatever. And that can be anywhere. I could go to Disney World. I'm at Epcot. What is on my left? I'm looking for Joffrey's coffee cart. They have hot eggnog. I want to find that. I'm going to walk. If I go to the right, I'm going to be going to France. If I go to the left, I'm going to be heading to Norway and Mexico. What do I do? And I chart that. So pick somewhere that you've been, you know, Six Flags, whatever, Knott's Berry Farm, and walk your way through it and talk about out loud, narrate to yourself what you're seeing and all of that kind of stuff. If you try to be all serious and talk yourself out of the anxiety, or you get upset with yourself and say, just stop it, you know, cut this out, I don't think that's a productive thing. You're supposed to feel your feelings and let them flow through you. Don't resist them, don't repress them, don't deny them, accept them and bless them and say, okay, right now I'm feeling pain, I'm feeling grief, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling a longing for what I had from my former life, I'm feeling lonely, I'm feeling so alone in this world, like abandoned by everybody, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. Just say it, name it, and just let it go through you while you're trying to grab those thoughts and don't let them go run wild, because they escalate, they magnify and amplify. And the longer you're going with that intrusive thought where you're ruminating about something that happened to you in your marriage or in your relationship with that person, it's going to harm you. And you don't want to let your brain just go wild. You want to control your thoughts. And these are all self-management tools that you're going to have to learn to do. I went to a Christmas bazaar and saw Ray Wiley Hubbard last night. And I bought a purse. It was my Christmas present to myself, was a purse. And the guy that I bought it from made it. He was a person about my age, and he had made it all from scratch, and all of his purses were from scratch. And I was telling him how, how it had been hard for me to be here in Austin, because there were so many triggers and flashbacks and things that caused me pain to be here, memories and of a past that's gone, of another life that's gone. And ideally we should do what they do. They relocate if they can. They go away and start a whole new life. They reinvent themselves in completely new ways, so that nothing that they did with you resembles the new person that they mirror and mimic and reflect that they have found. This replacement person is going to be different, and they're going to be different because they're going to match up with that person. So, if you can get away, that would be great. We can't all do that. And I can't stay away from forever. I own a house here. I can't afford to stay where I'm staying now forever. At some point, I need to come back. At some point, I think I'm going to be aging in place here in Austin, Texas, and I just can't do it now. I'm not ready to do it now. And I'll know I'm ready when I can be here without the anxiety and the panic and the ruminations and intrusive thoughts. And, I also want to say, I know you may have a lot of pressure from family and friends who don't understand what this is. And even your therapist, big warning on this one. A lot of trained therapists who may even have PhDs and all of that still may not know about what exactly narcissistic abuse recovery is, what it entails, what it disrupts in your body, the neurochemicals, the peptide addiction, the addiction to the narcissist, the intermittent reinforcement, the trauma bonding. I could go on and on. There are a lot of people who don't understand that, and they don't understand that it takes a while, maybe a long time. Everybody's different. Some people can do it in this amount of time, others in another amount of time. I have had clients that I have worked with who have been 8 years, 9 years, 10 years out of it, and they are still struggling. So it's not linear. You're all, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, and a couple of steps sideways. You feel like you're doing line dancing or something, You feel like you're doing the cha-cha or the rumba or some kind of merengue step, because it's not like you're moving forward all the time. And maybe it's not about moving forward, because what's up there anyway that you're moving towards? Sure, you need to have a vision, you need to have hopes, you need to have something in front of you to look forward to. You need to create that. Of course you do. Something to wake up in the morning for, something meaningful, purposeful, and something real. Not a delusion, not an illusion, not magical thinking. You're not a narcissist. You don't want to have that. You don't want to do another shared fantasy relationship that's not real. You don't want that. You want to have something authentic and real. So to have that, you have to stay grounded. You have to stay rooted in reality. As painful as it may be, that's where you live, and that's where you need to stay. And sure, Fantasyland, living at Disney World sounds great, because that's kind of what you did with the narcissist. It was like, it was like Disney World. It was this fantastic thing, but it was also false and not real life. It's fiction, make-believe, smoke and mirrors, dazzling sometimes, fireworks, spectaculars sometimes, but it doesn't have any substance because it's not real. So we want to be real, right? Even if it's hard, we can do it. They can't. So we need to be grateful for that, for the opportunity to get a chance to come back to reality and to be real people with real feelings and real relationships. That's a gift. And you may not appreciate that idea. I know I didn't in the beginning. People told that to me. I was like, shut up. How in any way is this a gift or an opportunity for anything except to suffer? And I felt that way for a long time. 3.5 years out, I have learned a lot of self-management tools. I feel stronger. I'm more independent. I'm more reality-based. I'm more whole and self-validating. I'm well on my way, but it's still hard sometimes, just like a person with any kind of addiction, whether it's alcohol or drugs or gambling or sex addiction or whatever, it's always right there. You never are fully healed or recovered. All these people who say, take my program and you'll be totally, totally free. I don't know about that. I kind of feel like, you are who you are and you are that person for a reason. You can work through your trauma, your complex trauma. You can heal those archaic childhood wounds. You can learn better ways to manage and cope in your life and to self-validate and all of that. You can learn how to create boundaries and do a lot of modifications to lead a happier, healthier life and to have happier, healthier relationships. Of course you can. But to be ever totally 100% free from that little thing in there that says, go ahead, do it, that person, they're exciting, go over there, talk to them. No, because that they're dangerous. There's something wrong with them. What are you doing? Stop it. That's always going to probably be there. That could always just kind of, at a bad moment or something, it could just come back or reemerge or whatever. So we need to learn how to be whole and complete and boundaried and all of the things that we need to do so we can be happy and whole. And just be aware that there's something in us that kind of craves this other thing because of ways that we were hardwired. We were programmed, scripted, and designed. We were built this way by partly generational trauma, DNA. It's in our cells, but also it could be other things like, childhood trauma, or who our caregivers were, what happened to us in our youth. So think about that this holiday season. We have, you may have some rough moments, but you will survive. You'll get through them. And if you feel like you won't, do something, take action, call somebody, have a sponsor, have somebody who's got your back, who can take care of you the way, in those moments when you just feel like you can't. Have a backup plan, right? You got to survive the holidays. Got a whole new 2023 coming up. Lots of opportunities to do some real cool stuff and to experience wonderful things, real things of substance. So I just wanted to talk to you about that today. When I get home, back to my new home away from Austin, near the beach, near the Pacific Ocean, I'm going to make you some sort of dance exercise kind of movement videos to work on the trauma on your body. And I'm going to try to get those posted before Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I'm going to try. That way you'll have a little something to do and you can just put it on and do it with me. And we're going to breathe and we're going to move. And yeah, maybe that will help. Okay. All right. Much love to everybody. Hang in there. I don't know where you are in the process, whether you've just been discarded or you just left, or whether you're 10 years out, but you got to keep going. right? You got to keep going. Don't give up, because you know, that's not good for you or anybody else that knows you, loves you, cares about you. You don't hurt them by giving up. You know, you got to keep fighting for yourself and for the people who love you. It's important. The world needs us, all of us, right? So remember that and develop some coping skills, and I'll see you soon. Okay? Bye.